Hi, my name is Bridget, and in this presentation, I'm going to go over 3 key ideas related to online learning: transactional distance, how that distance is reduced, and the community of inquiry model. These ideas explain how learning is affected by structure, communication, and interaction, and what needs to be in place for it to be effective. Learning is effective when expectations are clear, communication is consistent, and people are actively involved in the process. Clear expectations give direction and reduce confusion. Consistent communication allows questions to be answered and keeps progress moving. Active environment means people are applying what they are learning, not just watching. When these are in place, people move forward. When they are not, confusion builds, progress slows down, and people start to disengage. Transactional distance happens when there is a disconnect between the learner and the learning process. This distance is not about physical space. It is created by how the learning is designed and supported. One part of this is interaction. When interaction is limited, students do not have enough opportunity to ask questions, check their understanding, or stay involved. Another part is structure. When structure is unclear or too rigid, students either do not know what to do next or cannot adjust when they are struggling. Feedback also plays a role. When feedback is delayed, students cannot correct themselves, students cannot correct mistakes, or move forward with confidence. Connection is another factor. When students feel unsupported or isolated, they are more likely to disengage. These factors do not work independently. When one breaks down, it usually impacts the other. As these gaps increase, transactional distance increases, and learning becomes less effective. Reducing transactional distance requires intentional design and consistent support. One key factor is clear communication. Students need to understand expectations, instructions, and what they should be doing at each step. Without that clarity, confusion builds quickly. Another factor is flexible structure. There needs to be a plan in place, but it also needs to allow for adjustment based on how students are progressing. If the structure is too rigid, it does not support different learning needs. Consistent interaction is also critical. Students need ongoing opportunities to engage, ask questions, and stay involved in the process. These elements work together. Clear communication supports understanding. Flexible structure supports progress. Consistent interaction supports engagement. The community of inquiry model explains how learning happens through 3 connected elements: teaching presence, social presence, and cognitive presence. Teaching presence focuses on how the learning is designed, organized, and guided. This includes providing clear instructions, setting expectations, and maintaining direction throughout the learning process. Social presence focuses on the ability of students to feel comfortable participating and interacting. When students feel comfortable asking questions and contributing, they are more likely to stay engaged. Cognitive presence focuses on understanding. It is not just about completing tasks, but also about being able to think through information and apply it independently. These 3 elements are interconnected. Teaching presence supports structure and guidance. Social presence supports communication and interaction. Cognitive presence reflects whether meaningful learning is actually happening. If one of these elements is weak, the learning experience is affected. When all 3 are strong, students are more engaged, more confident, and more successful. Maintaining effective learning requires ongoing support, not just initial instructions. Clear expectations need to be established at the beginning so students understand what they are responsible for and how to move forward. Communication has to remain active throughout the process. Students need consistent opportunities to ask questions, receive clarifications, and stay connected to the learning. Feedback also plays a critical role. Timely feedback allows students to correct mistakes, adjust their understanding, and continue progressing without falling behind. Interaction must be ongoing, not occasional. Students need to be actively involved in applying what they are learning, not just observing it. These elements work together to support both engagement and understanding. When they are present, students are more likely to stay involved and continue progressing. When they are missing, students become disengaged, confused, and less likely to succeed. In my work, training a designer goes far beyond just learning software. It starts with understanding how cabinets are built, how layouts work, and how placement decisions affect the overall design. Designers also have to learn how to use spec books as a teaching tool. It includes detailed information about each vendor, including construction, finishes, doors, molding options, and more. The spec book does not make decisions. It teaches what is available and what is allowed, so correct choices can be made. There also needs to be an understanding of related materials like appliances, countertops, tile, flooring, and decorative hardware, because all of those pieces work together in the design. Communication is another major part of the role. Designers need to be able to explain the layout, walk a client through the design, and justify why certain choices are being recommended. Once that is in place, the next step is ordering. Ordering requires accuracy, attention to detail, and a full understanding of the product line, because mistakes at this stage have serious consequences. There is a high level of responsibility in this role, and the learning curve is significant. That is why clear instruction, consistent communication, and timely feedback are critical during training. When the support is in place, designers are able to connect the information and build confidence. This connects directly back to transitional distance. When communication is not clear, feedback is delayed, or support is not there. Designers start to feel stuck and disconnected from the process. It also connects to the community of inquiry model. Clear instruction supports teaching presence, communication supports social presence, and being able to complete a design independently shows cognitive presence. Learning in both online and professional environments is evaluated through engagement, understanding, and participation. Engagement shows whether people are staying active, paying attention, and interacting with material. In an online setting, this can be seen through discussion posts, activity completion, and time spent in the course. In a professional setting, it shows up through involvement, responsiveness, and whether tasks are being completed. When engagement is consistent, people stay connected. When it drops, something is not working. Understanding shows whether someone can apply what they are learning on their own. This is measured through assignments, job tasks, or how well someone completes work without constant guidance. If they can apply the content, the learning is there. If not, there is a gap. Participation shows whether people are actively involved in the process. In online learning, this includes asking questions and contributing to discussions. In a professional setting, it includes communication, collaboration, and follow-through. When participation is strong, people are involved. When it is missing, they begin to disconnect. In both environments, these indicators show how learning is happening by what they do, what they produce, and how they respond. If people are engaged, completing tasks, and participating, learning is moving forward. If they are not, it shows where learning is breaking down and where support is needed. One way to strengthen these models is to place more emphasis on real-time feedback and practical application. Learning becomes more effective when people are actively applying what they are learning and receiving support as they go. This helps reduce gaps in understanding and keeps people more connected throughout the process. These are the sources used for this presentation based on the assigned readings on transactional distance and online learning. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to any feedback.